Hey guys, I'm re-recording this because I realized that the sounds out of my system they weren't playing, so I'm literally gonna do the entire thing all over again. So for those of you that were in the first live stream, I'm very sorry. At least you could hear the comments that I was saying about the song and the making of, but yeah, not as fun when you can't actually hear the individual sounds. So yes, I'm going to redo it, and yeah, this will be available as soon as we're done this new live stream for those if you want to rewatch it. So yeah, here we go again for a second time. So first thing I talked about was the original sounds. So the original sounds from Wario. Um, they're like the chip sounds. So they're like original wave sounds. So typically when I start a mix or start a new song, I like for an N64, for example, I have to go and dig and extract the sounds from that and bring it into my software and then use that. But in this sense, I didn't have to do that. They were already in the system. So I'll have you guys listen to that right now. I'll just turn that up for you. So a lot of reverb in this, and I have that on because I didn't want that to be the focus of the song. I wanted that to still exist in the song, but kind of just sit back. So that's one of the tricks that you could do for reverb. So yeah, that was basically my starting point. Is I recorded those three parts by ear, working over top of the original song, and then I had to ask myself, okay, well, how do I want to bring this to the modern day? What instruments do I want to use for each of these parts? So I listened to these couple instruments and I thought, okay, well, in the other Wario songs, I used a baritone sax, so I thought, why not use it again? Because it's to me, it's got it 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 reminds me of Wario. I don't know. The baritone sax is kind of like lower and beefier and kind of like clumsy in a way. So you can hear it pretty clearly, even in the main mix, because that's the main instrument and melody that's being played. So um, yeah, you've already heard that. So I'll just show you what I used here. So I used Session Horns Pro, and I used the baritone sax for this one. Okay, and then after that, I decided to use a tuba for the bass. Yeah, and again, I use Session Horns Pro, and I use my tuba here. And after that, I have some percussion that I threw in. So here you can hear some like wooden sticks being hit together. That's actually, you can hear that in the original song. Then you got some tambourine, and you got some congas on the right. So it's a trio of percussion, and I'll just show you that what that looks like here. So I got my little mix. Here's my congas on the right. just playing that on the keyboard. My tambourines. Yeah. Again, playing that on the keyboard, and these wooden sticks. Can't remember the name. We got our trio there. So I had to get creative with that because most of that isn't existing in the original track. So we can actually hear that. Let's have a listen. So you hear that. So you can hear that. So that was like a no-brainer when I heard that. I'm like, okay, I got to use the wooden sticks. And then the other thing that I'm hearing in the original is the kind of like a hi-hat with like a little raise at the top. So with the percussion that I have, I thought that I could get away with it with just using the tambourine, but it wasn't getting that like the raise or the hi-hat. So that's where I had to go and find a drum set. So I ended up coming up with this here. You hear that now, you can hear the little raise. So I did that there. And then in the original song, there's no kick pedals in the original song. I wanted to throw that in just to, I don't know, give it a little bit more of an interesting feel. So you can hear that there. You can hear the kick. I'll turn it up for you. So that's like a bossa nova kind of beat. And I'll show you the kit that I used. Addictive drums as usual. Here's my kick here. I'll turn it up for you. So I wanted to choose a kick that wasn't too in your face. So I ended up going with 22 by 16 inch. And for hi-hat, I'm using a Zildjian 14 inch. And there's a ride as well. You just heard it there, ting. I'm using a Zildjian 22 inch. And that's basically it for the drums. Like very, very simple. So let's have a listen to the drums and the percussion together. A nice little mix there. Yeah. And that's being played. Like there's a lot of copy paste. Like really the drums are not supposed to be the focus of this song. They're kind of just sitting in the back. Same with the percussion. They're just there to add some extra, I don't know, something. A little extra something in the background. And then finally I used, not finally. There's still two more things here. So we got trumpet number 1. Gotta turn some things down here. We're going back in time a little bit, so I was messing around with volumes and stuff, trying to show you guys. All right, so the trumpet. So we'll listen to this section together. Yeah. So that's when I heard the original song. This one was pretty obvious. I'm like, okay, it's got to be a trumpet because trumpets can hit those notes. So I'll show you the trumpet on its own. Yeah, pretty straightforward. There's not a lot going on in that part. And then for the second one, just doubling it, just to give it a little bit, just make it a little more interesting. An alto sax. Yeah. And before I threw in the alto sax, I had another trumpet in there. I had trumpet 1, trumpet 2, but I don't know. It wasn't interesting enough for me, so I thought, oh, let's throw in something else. So what you're hearing mainly is trumpet 1, and alto sax is just kind of hidden, tucked down a little bit underneath. And again, I use Session Horns Pro for this. I'm using my trumpet 1. And for the alto sax, I'm using the alto sax as well. It's pretty straightforward stuff there. And then we have the bass. So the original song doesn't have any bass either. So all I basically did was, I think I copied the tuba part down into the bass. I may have replayed it. Actually, I think I did replay it and re-recorded it but I followed the structure of the tuba. So we'll have a listen here. So that's the bass. So if we have a listen to the tuba as well. Yeah. So the bass, for the most part, is following the tuba. The tuba's notes are shorter, and the bass notes are longer. They're like, they create that little bit of a warmth underneath. Now this is different. So for this section, this I decided to do something a little different. It's following the kicks from the bass, like the 1-2. It's like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So that's following that the drum set. So I'll get the drum set in there as well. Yeah. Okay, and one more little hidden thing that I decided to throw in there is a trombone. So for this section, when the tuba takes over, because the tuba ends up taking the lead melody at this part, and the baritone sax, which played the melody before, ends up being more of a supporting thing. So instead of just turning up the tuba at this part, I decided to throw in a little secret trombone in there. The trombone at that level is going to sound very similar to the tuba. There's the trombone there. And that's it. Like, that's all I'm using the trombone for. And a little bit at the end as well. Just to add a little extra something there. Just, it's like, you want to make your sections feel unique. So here's the tuba and the trombone together. Kind of hard to hear the trombone, and that's kind of the point. It's just there just to give that section a little more something, and then to help the tuba just pop out a little bit more. Yeah, so that was a little fun little addition. So there's not really much like that's basically it. Like a very 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 simple song on this. Another little fun fact about working on this one was that even though I recorded a lot of it by ear and manually, it didn't sound. It needed to be tightened up. So depending on the song, if there's a lot of things going on, I can get away with not having things lined up perfectly with the grid. But with this one, when there's not as many things, I had to try to line things up a little bit better. So I was finding like when I played it without having to fix things and line things up, it was sounding really rough. Really, like, it was like, oh, I don't know if this remix is going to sound good. But I went back and I started cleaning things up, which is something that I don't always do. But like for this one, like I said, like, I had to do it. So I went through each part, and for some of them, I locked them to the grid. So like, for example, if something is off a little bit, I can go Control K, and it'll lock it right to the grid. The term for this is called quantizing. So I did a lot more quantizing than I normally do. And I try not to like select everything and quantize it because then it starts to sound really robotic. So I was picky and choosy with how I was using it. I think for the OG original sounds for these, I probably did do a full quantize. Like I just went Control A that selects everything, and then went Control K to quantize, and it just put everything perfectly in line. For other things, I think I went through and just nudged things around. Like I opened up the drums and or in the tuba, and I saw that maybe something was not perfectly aligned, and I just went manually and tried to align things a bit better. When I did that, I was like, okay, now it's starting to groove. Now it's starting to sound a lot better. So that was some cleanup work that I did kind of like midway, maybe slightly near the end when I was listening to it, and it took a couple like sittings to finish it, just because I would hit those points where I don't know, they weren't like it wasn't jiving, so I had to put it aside and come back to it later with a fresh mind. And I heard it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know what to do. I know what I need to fix, and playing around with it. So, and I knew I could do it on this song because I knew it was going to be short, quick, and I knew I had that extra time to give to it. So yeah, let's have one more listen to it all the way through, and then I'll do my little send off, and then that'll be it. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Again, very sorry for the first few of you guys that have watched the original one. The sound wasn't working, but I got it. I got it fixed in this one. So yeah, I already have my next song picked out. So I'm hoping that I can get that one out to you as soon as possible, because it's going to be a fun one as well. So again, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.